Probate court come to order. If you're testifying today, I need you to raise your right hand, please.
Miss Nelson is here in person, so just wanted y'all to know she is right here.
Thank you.
And we're testifying. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, put your hand down. First on the docket is cause number 52, the state of Raymond Hinchel. Mr. Jackson. Daniel.
You're muted.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. You may proceed.
All right. It's Hinchel. Please state your full name.
Belinda Ruth Hinchel?
And your husband's, his full name was Raymond Edward Hinchel. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And your husband died on April 26, 2023. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And he died without a will. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And there's a necessity exists for the administration of his estate. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you two were never divorced. He was never divorced. Is that correct?
Not for me, no.
And of your marriage, you had children. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How many children did he have?
He had 5.
And all these children, they're still alive.
Yes, sir.
And you've reached accommodations with each of the children. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you're asking the court to admit this state into administration. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And appoint you as the independent administrator. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's all the testimony I have, Your Honor. I have a couple other witnesses.
Okay, Mr. Mahoney, you on?
Judge Matthew Neaton, Mr. Mahoney had asked me to cover for him. He is in trial in the 461st.
Okay, so you're acting as ad litem on this cause.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you have any questions of this witness?
Ma'am, have you ever been convicted of a felony or have any other reason that would disqualify you from being the administrator?
No.
And to clarify, excuse me, your husband had 2 children with you and 3 children from a prior relationship. Is that correct?
He had 3 children with me and 2 from a prior relationship.
Okay. And all 5 of those children are now currently adults, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there were no other children born or adopted by your husband during his lifetime?
No.
Okay. And y'all never took in a child that wasn't yours to live with you as though they were your own child without a formal adoption, correct?
No, we did not.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, call your next witness, Mr. Jackson.
I call says, here, would you please state your full name?
Sid Ariot.
And you're here as a witness regarding the estate of Raymond Edward Hinchel.
Yes, sir.
Are you related to Mr. Hinchel?
No, sir.
How do you know him?
Met him 20-something years ago, knowing Belinda from we worked together.
And did he ever discuss with you topics such as making wills and things as that?
No, sir.
Do you know whether or not he made a will?
No, sir.
And if he had, do you think he would have told you?
Possibly. I'm not sure.
And no one offered or paid you anything to appear today. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Nate.
And sir, you're familiar with Mr. Hinchel's family, is that correct?
Correct.
And so he was, of course, married to Belinda at the time of his passing, correct?
Yes.
And then he had his 5 children, John, Brian, Michael, Adam, and Megan, correct?
Yes.
To your knowledge, did he have any other children born or adopted to him during his lifetime?
No, sir.
And you are not related to him or set to inherit anything from this estate, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, call your next witness, counsel.
And please state your full name.
Elizabeth Ann Pepper.
And you're regarding the estate of Raymond Edward Hinchel, is that right?
Yes,
And are you related to him?
yes.
How are you related to him?
He's my brother-in-law.
So this is your sister,
Yes.
and how long you been her sister?
How much? 59 years.
And you knew her husband Raymond, is that correct?
Yes.
And in knowing your Raymond, did you know that he did not have a will when he died?
That was talked about, not frequently. And it was my understanding, or what was mentioned as years ago, they prepared wills to, plan for their, family. And upon Ray's passing, it was determined that the originals perhaps have gotten thrown away in Harvey. We live across the street from each other and suffered great loss through that. And it is believed that the originals were lost, thrown away by volunteers in Harvey.
Now, during his marriage to Belinda, he had children. He had 3, is right?
Yes,
And he had 2 children beyond that, is that right?
yes, from his first marriage.
And no other children exist,
No, not that no.
and there you were paid nothing to appear today.
No.
You're doing this voluntarily.
Yeah.
I pass witness, Your Honor.
Counselor.
And just to clarify, the other 2 children were with his previous wife, Zoe Aldrich. Is that correct?
No, his Ray's first wife was Jerry Hinchel.
Well, her name was Zoe.
Oh, her name was Zoe. Sorry about that.
Yes, Zoe Geraldine. Is that correct?
Yes.
Zoe Geraldine
Jerry,
Aldrich
yes.
is her maid.
Okay. Yes.
And he divorced from Jerry in 1982. Is that correct?
Before I met him, yes.
Okay. And he never had any other children other than those 5 born or adopted during his lifetime that you're aware of, correct?
Correct.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
I have no other witnesses, Your Honor. You'd ask the court to admit this to administration and the order that we submitted to the court.
Okay, so Mr. Neaton, you agree with the judgment declaring heirship?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Have y'all agreed to amount of ad litem fees?
That was not discussed with me with Mr. Mahoney, so I'm unsure if he and
Raymond.
I've never even spoken to him, so no.
We have not spoken to Mr. Mahoney, but we will do so.
Okay. I think the normal fees are $500. Is that
All right.
agreeable to
That's
both parties?
agreeable.
Yeah, the normal fees for the ad litem for judgment declaring heirship. So we'll approve the judgment declaring heirship with $500 attorney ad litem fees. And then order granting letters of administration is hereby approved. And I don't think there's anything else
That's all.
on this matter. Mr. Jackson, Mr. Neaton.
Thank you, Judge.
thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Merry Christmas.
You too.
You too, Judge.
All right. Cause number 105, the state of Kevin Marshall Dalah.
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 All right. Good morning, Zach.
How are you?
Good. How are you, man? You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Angela, state your name for the record.
Angela Gwen Dalah.
And Angela, who was your husband?
Kevin Marshall Dalah.
And isn't it true that he passed away in Jefferson County on October 8th of this year?
Yes, sir.
And at the time of his passing, he was 52 years old. Now, he was from Chambers County, lived in Winnie, and has property in a house in Winnie. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And he had a will, did he not?
Yes, sir.
And that will, if I'm not mistaken, was dated in July 23rd of 23. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And it's never been revoked. And the witnesses were Richard Ferguson and Barrett Franzine. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And there were no children born or adopted after the date of the will.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, and there's a necessity for an administration of this state because there are a couple of pieces of, well, a truck in particular that we need to get rid of, and that you need letters of testamentary so that you can facilitate the sale of that truck. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, the your husband, the will did not mention the state of Texas as a charitable organization or any type of government agency as a beneficiary. And nor did he receive any Medicaid benefits after March 1st, 2005. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm going to show you this will, and you've seen this will, have you not?
Yes, sir.
And you've seen your husband's signature many times. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And is that his signature?
Yes.
All right. Now, in addition to that, Judge, Angela, you've read the proof of death and other facts. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And is this document true and correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And with that, Your Honor, I guess we'd ask that will be admitted to probate, letters of testamentary be granted, and that she take the oath of office. I don't know if you administer it or you want me to.
No, you can and get it to the clerk.
Okay.
And I hereby admit the will of probate and authorize letters for Kevin and Marshall Dalah. I got it right that time, didn't
Yes, sir.
I? Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Judge.
Have a good day. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right, cause number G00087, the matter of Chason Hicks. Mr.
Good morning,
Dunham.
Your Honor.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. You may proceed.
Okay. Kimberly and Brian, if you'll unmute yourselves. Oh, there we are.
You got it.
Very good. All right. Your Honor, I would call Kimberly Hicks as my first witness.
You may proceed.
Kimberly, could you state your name for the court?
Yes, Kimberly Hicks.
And you're the mother of Chason Emery Hicks, is that correct?
Yes.
And is that Chason there with you?
This is Chason.
Very good. And we're here today to talk about your application to be appointed as co-guardian for the person of Chason, is that correct?
Yes.
And Chason just turned 18 in August of this year, I believe. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I'd like to ask you a couple questions about his family. Chason's not married, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And does he have any children?
He does not.
Okay, very good. And you and Brian Hicks, who's there with you, are his parents, is that right?
Yes.
Very good. Chason has 2 minor siblings, but no adult siblings, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, very good. I'd like to ask you a couple questions about Chason's condition. You had Chason examined by Dr. Holly Dudley Harrell, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And Dr. Dudley Harrell prepared a certificate based on her examination that certified that Chason was incapacitated, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And Your Honor, I'd asked the court to take judicial notice. We filed the physician certificate with our original application, and it should be in the court's file there.
So done.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Now, Dr. Dudley Harrell had diagnosed Chason with autism spectrum disorder and intellectual disability. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And can you just briefly tell the court a little bit about the nature of Chason's incapacity? What are some things that he has difficulty with and that you guys have to help him out with?
Yes. Daily needs. Brian and I take care of preparing his food, giving his medications, and making sure he brushes his teeth, and taking care of his clothing, making sure that he has getting dressed in the mornings.
Yeah.
So give his medicine.
For school.
Yes, for
Yeah.
school. And he picks out his own things.
Okay. Right. You have to help him out with that. Okay, very good. Does Chason have any sort of understanding and awareness of financial matters and how money works and that sort of thing?
He does not. No.
Okay.
We helping with that.
Okay. Does he have any property or money of his own?
None.
Okay, very good. Is he able to drive?
He cannot.
Okay. And there's no real prospect of him being able to drive in the future, is there?
No.
He has epilepsy also.
Oh, I see. Okay. That would also affect that. Gotcha. And you'd indicated this before, but you have to administer his medications for him. He can't handle those on his own. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
He takes,
Is he
speech medicines.
okay? Is he currently taking on, or is he currently on medications, or as part of his? Does he take medication as part of his daily routine? Okay. Um,
2,000 grams of Depakote.
okay. And if he met with the doctor in the future and had to make medical decisions, would he be able to do that on his own and understand what he was doing?
He would not.
Okay, very good. In her report, Dr. Dudley Harrell concluded that Chason is totally incapacitated. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in living with Chason for all these years, would you agree with that assessment?
I agree.
Okay. And because of that, because we need someone who can make decisions for Chason and advocate for him, are you and your husband, Brian, asking the court to appoint you as the co-guardians of his person at this time?
Yes.
Okay. If we were to present Chason with like a power of attorney or another legal document to authorize someone to act on him, would he have any understanding of what that document was or what it meant?
He would not.
Okay. So you believe that there really is no less restrictive means to take care of Chason other than having you guys appointed as his guardian. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I'll pass the witness at this time, Your Honor.
Ms. Nelson.
Good morning. Good to
Morning.
see all three of you again, especially you, Chason.
Thank
Ms. Hicks, you do
Yes.
not have a criminal record, and there's no reason why you would be disqualified for acting as guardian for Chason, is there?
No.
Okay. And of course, you've been taking care of Chason now for 18 years, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
I cannot think of anybody more qualified to take care of him than you and your husband, can you?
I cannot.
Can I pass the witness, Your Honor?
Okay. Go your next witness, Counselor.
Yes, Your Honor, I would call Brian Hicks. Brian, would you state your name for the court?
Brian Kelly Hicks.
Okay. And Brian, you've heard the questions I asked your wife, Kimberly, here today in court. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Would you agree with her testimony concerning Chason's family and his incapacity?
Yes.
Okay. And you also understand that being appointed guardian, you'll have continuing duties to the court, to file an annual report and that sort of thing, and you're willing to take on those responsibilities, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as guardian, you're there to advocate for Chason, make sure he's taken care of, and you've been doing that your whole life, or his whole life, and you're willing to continue to do that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'll pass this witness, Ron.
All right, Counselor.
Mr. Hicks, you also do not have any kind of criminal record, and there's no reason why you would be disqualified under the law to act in capacity as guardian. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And obviously you think that the appointment of you and your wife would be in Chason's best interest.
100%.
Okay. That's all the questions I have, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Dunham.
That is all the testimony I have, Your Honor, and based on this testimony, we'd ask that Kimberly Hicks and Brian Hicks be appointed as co-guardians of the person of their son, Chason Emery Hicks. And based on the relationship of the parties, we'd ask that the bond be set in as low amount as possible.
Okay, Ms. Nelson.
Yeah, Your Honor, obviously I believe that it is in his best interest and necessary that his parents be appointed guardian. We are only asking for guardianship, or they are, of his person, not there is no estate. So obviously I think the lowest bond possible is the correct bond. And otherwise, I will say that Chason is a wonderful young man and his parents are doing a fabulous job.
Great. All right, I am going to approve the co-guardians of the person and set a $20 bond.
Okay.
And also approve the add line of fees of $650. Okay, good luck.
Very good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Your Honor.
Take care.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right, cause number 90, the matter Lamio Devin Daniels.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Raita Stevens,
Yes, ma'am.
attorney for applicant David Coates.
Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I call Mr. David Anthony Coates. Mr. Coates, please state your full name for the court.
David Anthony Ray Coates.
What is your relationship with the ward, with the proposed ward, Lamio Devon Daniels?
He is my first cousin.
Is it your testimony that Lamio lives in Chambers County?
Yes,
Has Lamio lived in Chambers County all of his life, sir?
that I'm aware of, yes.
Isn't it true that Lamio's only sibling, Broderick Daniels, passed away on October the 5th, 1999?
Yes,
And isn't it true that Lamio's father, Booker T. Daniels, died on November 11th, the year 2000?
yes,
And isn't it true that Lamio's mother, Sandra D. Daniels, suddenly passed away on May 4th, 2023?
yes,
Isn't it true that Miss Sandra Daniels was appointed by this court as guardian of person and guardian of state for Lamio on March 20th, 2012?
yes,
Isn't it true that Lamio's mother named you as successor guardian for Lamio in her will dated May 10th, 2020?
yes, it is.
Isn't it true that you used to babysit Lamio to relieve his mother from his care?
Yes, I did.
About how long have you been caring for Lamio at different times?
Roughly about 20 years or more.
For the record, sir, what is your age?
I am 40.
Are you currently employed?
Yes, I am.
And isn't it true that you quit your job in Oregon to come care for Lamio?
Yes, it is.
Are you working for an organization that pays you to care for Lamio?
I am not.
Are you compensated for Lamio's care?
I am not.
And even if you're not compensated for Lamio's care, you care for Lamio, right?
Yes.
Are there other persons helping you daily with Lamio so you can also work outside the home?
No, there is not.
And who's caring for Lamio during the time that you're at work? Or do you work at home?
I work from home.
Oh, okay, thank you. Isn't it true that Lamio's primary doctor, Stephanie Schwartz, met with Lamio on June 20th, 2023?
Yes.
Isn't it true that Lamio's doctor provided a letter stating that his incapacity is not likely to improve and he requires 24-hour supervision and care?
Yes.
Your Honor, I move that this court takes judicial notice of Lamio Devon Daniels, PCME.
Hold on.
Mr. Coates, is it your testimony that Lamio is mentally and physically disabled?
Yes.
Isn't it true that, in addition, the right side of Lamio's body has paralysis, causing him to limp, and
Yes.
limited use of his right hand, sir?
Yes.
And does he also have a history of seizures?
Yes, ma'am, he does.
Isn't it true that Lamio's neurologist, Dr. Richard Pardo, and primary care physician, Dr. Bowie, refused medical visits with Lamio without a guardian?
Yes.
Isn't it true that the physical health and well-being of Lamio can be detrimentally affected without the appointment of a permanent successor guardian of the person?
Yes, it is.
Is Lamio able to make medical decisions of his own?
He is not.
Is Lamio able to manage finances of his own?
He is not.
Does Lamio own property?
No, his mother owned it was in his mother's name. So I'm not quite sure what happens now since we haven't probated the will.
What did the mother own?
The house, the car, and there was a truck as well that was in her name.
Okay. Does Lamio receive government assistance?
Yes, he does receive Medicare.
And what kind of things do you help Lamesio with every day, sir?
Bathing, clothing, using the restroom. I take him on rides and take him to do things and see people, get food.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Coates, do you think that the guardianship continues to be the best means to care for Lamesio?
Yes,
Are you aware that if you are appointed Lamesio's guardian of the person, it will be your responsibility to take care of him?
yes,
Are you aware that if the guardianship no longer exists, you have a duty to inform the court?
yes.
Can Lamesio read and write, sir?
No, he cannot.
And at this point, can Lamesio understand and sign documents giving you power of attorney?
He cannot.
Do you think it would be in Lamesio's best interest to have you as guardian of his person?
Yes,
Are you qualified to serve as Lamesio's guardian of person?
I hope so, but yes.
Have you ever been convicted of a felony?
No, ma'am.
Is there anything that would disqualify you from serving as Lamesio's guardian of person?
No, ma'am.
Are you asking the court to appoint you as Lamesio's permanent successor guardian of person?
Yes,
And are you asking the court to set a minimum bond for you?
yes,
And are you asking the court that you be allowed to post a bond as a deposit into the registry of the court of cash in lieu of a corporate bond, sir?
yes.
That's all I have, Your Honor. And I
Thank you,
ask
Ms.
that
Nelson.
I ask that this court appoints Mr. David Anthony Coates as permanent successor guardian of Lamesio Devon Danielson.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson.
Your Honor, I have no questions for Mr. Coates. Ms. Stevens covered everything.
Yeah, okay. All right, so you asked for the guardianship of the person only,
Right.
temporary to permanent. Ms. Nelson, do you have an opinion on?
Absolutely, Your Honor. I think that is absolutely in Lamasio's best interest that Mr. Coates continues his care. He's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
lucky to have his cousin there, and I think he's doing a fabulous job.
And you think the $50 bond is sufficient?
I do.
Okay, so done. Thank you all, Mr. Coates.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry
Thank you.
Christmas.